Today, we are going to be learning a fantastic new structure that we can use for one or two of our Part 3 questions in the IELTS speaking test. Now, this technique is absolutely fantastic and many of my students have had great success with it. Remember, in Part 3, we need to try and discuss two sides. We always want to give an argument in our answer. But today, I want us to try and give our arguments by contrasting and splitting sections of society, whether it be age, old and young, wealth, rich and poor, gender, male and female, personality, extrovert, introvert, or location, rural and urban. This is a fantastic way for you to contrast different sections of society. Let's take a look at a wonderful question together. The question is, what do people in Vietnam complain about most? Now, everyone will say traffic and pollution, and that's fine. You can answer traffic and pollution is great, but try to think of other ideas. And a great way to do this is to say, well, in my opinion, it depends on age. Then explain. Young people often complain about the education system because there is too much homework and too many exams. Moreover, they complain about low wages because Vietnam is a developing country. In contrast, old people usually complain about the healthcare system due to a lack of government investment. Moreover, older people complain about noise pollution often because their neighbours love to sing karaoke. Do you see? I've managed to make my answer so much more interesting. The same question, we might compare wealth, rich and poor. Oh, in my opinion, it depends on wealth. Poor people complain about low salaries because Ho Chi Minh City has a very high cost of living, and if they only earn a low salary, they will have a poor quality of life. In contrast, rich people usually complain about tax and the high cost of private education for their stunning children, due to the fact that the international schools charge a really high price. You see, we can make our answer so much more interesting. Let's take a look at another question. What do people in Vietnam like to buy with their wages? I can say, as far as I'm concerned, it depends on gender. Men like to buy watches and motorbikes and fast cars because they are passionate about showing their social status. Furthermore, men like to buy the latest technological devices because they want to be the cool kids on the block. In contrast, ladies like to buy cosmetics, which make them feel more confident and outgoing. Furthermore, they might like to buy big diamonds so that they can show off their natural beauty. Do you see that contrast? Beautiful. Another question. What is the healthcare system like in Vietnam? Now, most students will say, healthcare system maybe is not so great unless you go private, but that's very expensive. Yeah, it's an acceptable answer, but instead say, well, I think it depends on location. In the rural areas, the healthcare system is far more underdeveloped due to a lack of government investment, and there are not many top doctors that often want to live in the countryside. Oh, by the way, I know lots of amazing doctors in the countryside, but we can just say it for the IELTS exam. In contrast, on the contrary, in the thriving metropolis of Ho Chi Minh City, the healthcare system is far more advanced due to the fact that there are many doctors from prestigious universities that work here. Moreover, Ho Chi Minh City is passionate about developing and improving the healthcare system into the future. I love that. It's a beautiful answer. So just by contrasting urban and rural, we can get that more advanced answer. Let's look at a final question, and this is a funny one. Do people in your country like to go to parties? Well, I would say yes, yeah. And you can explain why, and you can explain why some people don't. But instead you might say, But in my opinion, it depends on personality. Extroverts, people that are confident, love to visit parties because it gives them a chance to expand their social networks and make friends with like-minded people from all walks of life. For example, last week I enjoyed a party with many local Vietnamese people and had the most fabulous time. On the contrary, introverts prefer to stay at home or socialize in small groups because they don't demand the social interaction. They would prefer to read a fantastic book or study IELTS with Charles at home. I'm curious, can you guess what I am? An extrovert, an introvert? Or maybe I'm an ambivert, straight down the middle. I want to ask you a question now and think about which section of society you would compare if you got this question in the exam. If the examiner asked you, what are the most common jobs in your country? Now, would you say it depends on wealth, gender, age, personality maybe? For me, I would pick location, urban and rural. Well, in my opinion, it depends on the location of the person. In rural areas, people tend to work in the farming and agricultural industry due to the fact that Vietnam has many job opportunities in this sector in the countryside. Take Long An as an example, which is a famous rice growing district, and therefore many families over generations choose to work in the farming profession. In contrast, in the urban areas, people tend to work in manufacturing jobs and office jobs because they have a slightly higher level of education and they want to have a better quality of life in the city and be able to provide for their stunning families. Moreover, the city offers more opportunities in prestigious companies. You see? So we can contrast there and just pick one of those different sections of society and use it to contrast in your exam. I hope that gives you a little bit of inspiration and a new technique for you to use in part 3. Thanks guys for watching, and let me know down in the comments, what do you think of this technique? It's a little bit more advanced than the other ones, but nevertheless, it's a key to success. As always guys, thank you very much for watching. Please hit subscribe and leave a comment down below. I always read them. Bye for now.